With the Chicago Bulls, the first summer league game ending in a victory, I'm here to talk about some of the top performers, some of the players that need to improve, and then I got a little bit to say about the Chicago Bulls and the Zach LaVine rumors. I'm going to talk about it. You already know. You got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's episode of Shy Bulls podcast for me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shake that notification bell so every time we drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. Now, last night's game versus the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls, came out with a victory, 83-74. Seen a lot of good that I like. The game was a bit sloppy, but it is summer league, and it was the first game of this type of exhibition for your Chicago Bulls. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about the top performers before I get into the players I want to see more from or the players that need to improve. The first player that I want to talk about, the ones that was one of the top performers, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Javon Freeman Liberty. This guy came in, gave you 29 minutes, went 4 for 9 from the field, didn't hit anything from the three, gave you 2 attempts there, went 4 for 6 from the free throw line, gave you 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, and included 1 block. Now, Javon Freeman Liberty, he played in the G League last season for the Chicago Bulls and the Summer League, and in my opinion, he was a bit erratic. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to find his way, but man, in last night's game against the Toronto Raptors, Chicago Bulls, Javon Freeman looked like he wanted to be there, looked like he deserved to be there, and he was doing a little bit of everything. You seen the activity on the defensive end, you seen what he was able to bring offensively, and it resulted in him being almost ending the game, being the leading scorer. But I like what he did just to go ahead, and it was the pull-up jumper, it was the attacking the basket, it was the activity, and you even seen him attempt some threes. And me personally, I don't think that most players, if they're trying to find their way, they need to just go with this crazy output from the three-point line. He did go 0 for 2 from the three-point line, but I do like that he mixed up his game pretty well. He went to find his spots, and he executed, and most of those shots fell down, hence why from the field, he was 4 for 9. Now, my next player I want to talk about is Nate Darling. This guy gave you 27 minutes, went 6 of 15 from the field. So he shot the most for the Chicago Bulls last night in the Summer League game, and then went 3 for 7, from the three-point line, with being the leading scorer in that game. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and was a +8 in that plus-minus slot. Nate Darling, it was somebody I wasn't that familiar with, but he was one of those guys that was popping off the screen for the Chicago Bulls and was able to be like, I'm here, at least for last night's game. He's starting to get some recognition a little bit, and they was like, man, this guy's shooting the three. He's getting inside of the paint. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing, and I like all the things that he brought to the team, especially as these young guys try to make their names around this NBA. Whether that be with the main roster or in the G League. It was much to be desired. It was much to like regarding Nate Darling. I like what he brought. His intensity was good. He played good basketball. So I'm going to go ahead and include him in one of those top performers. My last top performer last night from that game versus the Toronto Raptors is Yago Dos Santos, guard. This man gave you 9 points. He went 3 for 6 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three-point line in just 19 minutes of action. So he ended the game with 9 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. And man, he had some turnovers there that was like, okay, cool. But in that plus-minus box that some of us love, I'm not really a big fan of it, but I got to show some love to it when it makes sense for me, because sometimes it don't. In this case, it makes sense for me. He was +7 in that category. I like what he was able to do. Get to the basket, distribute a little bit, get in there, get dirty, grab some rebounds. And keep in mind, this guy's really not that big. So he came out there. He did what he had to do. He popped off the screen, was able to knock down some big 3-pointers for the Chicago Bulls after we thought, after that first, this first few minutes of the game, that there was going to be some type of drop off. But he came in the game, helped the team out, and helped these guys secure a victory so the Chicago Bulls can put a dub in that win column in this first summer league game. Now we move on to the players I need to see improve. Number one on that list is Dalen Terry. Now, I understand some people going to say, well, he played 32 minutes. He gave us 10 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. That's all good. But when you go 4 for 14 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, it wasn't an efficient. It wasn't in an efficient game for Dalen Terry. So I want to see Dalen Terry get a little bit more comfortable in this. Something that I talked about Dalen Terry last year was him pretty much being like so charged up to play because of the type of energy he is. He is all the energy inside of a Henny bottle when you walk in that off the Henny in the club and you think that you're the toughest man in there. That Hennessy, that yak courage is what I like to call it. You get that yak courage once you drink you have a few glasses of some Hennessy, and you get some of that yak courage, like, I'll whoop all y'all. That's the type of energy Dalen Terry was bringing last season. So I will commend him on kind of calming down this summer league. You see that he's calmed down a little bit. You seen that Dalen Terry attempted to get to his spots a little bit, but a few things that got him in trouble was when he wanted to get to a spot, he was quick to try to wrap behind his back and get to the, to go in the opposite direction. That got him in some trouble in some few possessions to where, he was losing the ball that resulted in some turnovers, or, teams was up in there trying to pick his pocket. He was able to secure some of those, and then he had to dish it out. So for me, moving on to game 2, I would like to see Dalen Terry just kind of continue to settle in, continue to find your groove. Me personally, I would love for Dalen Terry, once he gets in that painted area, let's start working on a floater. You know what I'm saying? The guys are respecting him enough to give him that space. So let's just focus on a floater, or, just get rid of the ball a little bit more faster instead of trying to wrap behind the back and go in the opposite direction. I think that'll save him. I think that'll make possessions flow a lot smoother. And I think it's just 3 turnovers, but I also think that some of that stuff could have been prevented. You know what I mean? If he wasn't trying to wrap behind the back. But one thing I will commend him on is that the handle was looking a little bit better. Still has some ways to go, but that's why I want to see Dalen Terry improve. He's the guy that a lot of us Bulls fans, we want to see earn some minutes with, the starting guys in the big boy league. So I think Dalen Terry needs to continue to settle down, find his way, and go ahead and have a great output. Now, if you're looking at the box score, you say, man, he did a little bit of everything. That's the expectation of Dalen Terry for me. I don't expect this guy to go ahead and drop 25 points in a summer league game. My range for Dalen Terry is give me 15 to 18 points, and you can still go ahead and do your rebound, your assists, your steals, and all that stuff. But let's just make sure we're doing it in an efficient way. So that's why I got to give Dalen Terry as one of the players I want to see improve moving on to the next game. The next person I'm going to go ahead and call up that needs to improve will be Justin Lewis. Justin Lewis, he showed some flashes. He showed that he can get strong, going to the basket. We seen that he can go ahead and grab some rebounds, hence why his box score looks like this. 7 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, went 3 for 6 from the field, shot 1 3-point. So, and then we seen Dalen Terry like, hey, man, you open, shoot that. So I want to see Justin Lewis. I almost said Justin Fields, keep it a buck with y'all, because we so hooked on Justin Fields right now and all that Bears talk. But Justin Lewis, in this sense, I just want to see him, man. When you got that open shot in that corner, take the 3. Me personally, I know I don't get paid the $1 million that most of these coaches get paid, the coach summer league or the NBA. But if I'm a coach and I'm saying, hey, you got to open 3 down there, let's take that 3. You know what I'm saying? Let's take that 3. I can live with you going 0 for 4 from the 3-point line as long as they are good shots. Because to me, that's still a good basketball play. If you're taking that open three, you're open. So once you get open, let's take the three. Let's see if you can knock those down. But I think over time, that's something that he'll, lean on a little bit more, especially, because I believe that Coach Bryant is definitely telling these guys, hey, take the damn shot. We can live with the results. Take the shot. At least that's how I was coached up. If you open, take the shot. So I want to see a little bit more from Justin Lewis simply because we seen him get physical, driving to the basket, and be able to get some, some easy ones. But I also want to see my mans take those open shots. If they fall, that's a plus. If they don't, I still like the decision to take an open shot. It is what it is. It's the first game of Summer League. You can't make them all. So that's for me. And that's player number 2. The next player I'm going to go with that I want to see improve or take another step forward will be Amada Sonogu. Played 18 minutes, went 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. Box score looks like this: 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block. And if my people that love the plus minus, he was a -10. He was a -10 in that plus minus. And y'all know I don't really like the plus minus, but this one, if it makes sense, I like it. And this one right here makes sense simply because we seen Sonogu have opportunities to do things, and those quick, little drop-off passes from Dalen Terry and other players, it seemed like Amada didn't have his hands ready, or he just wasn't expecting the ball to come towards him. Maybe he was, expecting more of his teammate to just put the ball, towards the hoop and not kind of drop it off to get him involved. And he missed a few quick bunnies. Like it was, I easily could have said that he could have been one of those double-digit scorers. You know what I'm saying? Whether that was 10 or 12 points, because I feel like he left a few points on the board or on the floor because his hands weren't ready, his eyes weren't ready, or or simply he just, when he did get it, the floater or the putback or the put in was just too hard. So, and I think over time, especially going into the next game, now that he's played in an NBA game, he'll get more comfortable as time goes on. And man, Peter Patton, 3-point shooting specialist, please help this man shoot a 3 balanced. Please help this man shoot a 3 balanced. I think that's what we definitely will have to see some improvement in when it comes from Sonogu, because shooting it with one, starting up balance, but ending it with 1 foot forward and the other foot back, and you kind of leaning in with that arm up like that, it's just not a great, I guess, looking shot. You know what I'm saying? It's not the worst that I've seen. We've seen some worse ones. We've seen guys that shoot from back here. We've seen guys that shoot from behind the back of the head. We've seen things like that. And I think that's something that Sonogu will have to clean up. So it's just real simple for him. Have your hands ready, have your eyes ready, and you will have a better and more efficient output when it comes to playing in this summer league. I think it wasn't all bad. We seen some good. We seen some activity on the defensive end. We seen a little bit of rebounding, and I like his size out there. You can't miss him. So let's just continue to build on that. Let's see what he could do for the Chicago Bulls as we move on to game 2 tonight. So those are my players. Those are the players that I got deemed as the top performers. That was Javon Freeman Liberty, Nate Darling, and Yago Dos Santos. And the players I want to see improve: Dalen Terry, Amada Sonogu, and Justin Lewis. Below, y'all go ahead and let me know which players do you view is one of the top performers or your top performing Chicago Bulls, and your players that you want to see improve. So go ahead and hit that in the comment box below. Now, before we go, I want to talk about some of the chatter around Zach LaVine, and I think that the Chicago Bulls are kind of playing with fire. Look, we've seen plenty of times to where Zach LaVine has been mentioned in trade talks. We've seen him being mentioned and linked to the New York Knicks this past trade deadline. We seen, and just yesterday and the day before, that he's being linked for a horrible trade, talking about that the Bulls had conversation with the Sixers to discuss James Harden and PJ Tucker for Patrick Williams and Zach LaVine. Look, me personally, The Bulls need to shut that shit down. Shut it down. We're not trading Zach LaVine right now. You don't have to go into this and say we're not ever trading Zach LaVine, but you could definitely put out a filler and say we're not trading Zach LaVine. It's not that hard because, for one, James Harden, in my eyes, he's a quitter. Point blank, period. He's a quitter. You came out there and you quit in the Houston Rockets and you purposely was out there laying goose eggs because you wanted out. Got to Brooklyn with and was on a super team. You forced your way out of there. Got to Philly, had some playoff success. Now you want to get up out of there too. That's not Chicago Bulls brand of basketball. Me personally, I'll be writing that shit off immediately. You know what I'm saying? And Zach LaVine, though his name has been mentioned in trade talks for the past 2 seasons, you never heard a peep out of him calling, being a disgruntled star, whatever. Regardless, however you feel about it, one thing is all facts. Period. You never heard Zach LaVine come out and make some noise about it. You never seen Zach LaVine come out and play any other way than what we know how he plays. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he makes mistakes. Yes, a lot of people question his IQ, and that's fair. But one thing that we know, my man has played through injury for the Chicago Bulls, and in the second half of last season, he put his best foot forward and had a solid second half, of the season. Did it end well? No. We're going to say, hey, Toronto Raptors play in game. You played outstanding, but you didn't play outstanding with the Miami Heat. And I'm with the people that said against the Miami Heat, he didn't play well. And that's facts. That I agree with that. But a James Harden for a Zach LaVine swap will be absolutely stupid. Why does anybody want to build and push forward with a future with DeMar DeRozan, who's 33, 34 years old? I like the player. I love the player. Actually, DeMar DeRozan has brought a lot of life in here, regardless of what the playoff, how everything ended with the playoffs and all that. But he's 34 years old. You ain't got much time left with these guys. So if I'm the Chicago Bulls, you need to shut that shit down. Just like Daryl Morey went out there and shut all of Tyreek's Maxey trade talks. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard. You can shut it down for this season. That's it. We're not saying you can't trade. I'm not saying you can't trade them in the future, but for this season, shut it down. Shut it down. I don't think right now is the time. That's just a personal opinion. But that's it. I think the Bulls need to stop playing with fire. So, and you're playing with fire right now because you're going to get yourself in a situation you don't really want to be in, at least right now. Now, if we're talking about next year in 2024, 2025 NBA season, fine. We can still explore the option if the season does not result in a playoff series win. I don't want to just go to the playoffs no more. I want a playoff series win. So if the Bulls don't give us that, I'm all for it. Again, and I understand that the front office had to do their due diligence. Go ahead and answer some calls. Take some calls. Totally fine. But now that you couldn't find nothing that you felt like was valuable, shut it down. It's that simple. And I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know in the comment box how y'all feeling about that statement regarding Zach LaVine. It's just, I know it's rumors and stuff like that, but it doesn't take, the Bulls ain't shutting it down. Y'all can literally come out and do what some other GMs do and say, no, we're not trading this player. So put it to rest and say, no, we're not trading this player right now if that's the direction that you guys want to go in. But hey, that's it for me today. Make sure y'all hit the comment box. Let me know how y'all feeling about the things we discussed today. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time we drop, you be one of the first ones to know. If you want to go ahead and have a mailbag episode where we play your voicemail and then react to it, send a text message in or call in at 773-242-9219. It's another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac.